QAnon. Have you heard that lately? Have you been seeing it buzz around? I've seen and heard it like on channels I follow, like BP Earthwatch. Uh, and kind of like the looking at this Mr. Jake Morphonius a little bit. Listening to this lady break it all down, all the 4chan posts, and she's really great. It's been really fun to listen to. Deception Bites. This ex-marine, or not, you're never an ex-marine. Says retired marine. Steve Motley. He's been great too to listen to, but very interesting. Colonel Potter in the ETC there. In the etc. Excuse me. What do you guys think about this? QAnon. I have some opinions, and I wrote some stuff down to kind of follow in notes. So I'm gonna kind of go over some of that stuff. Let this kind of scroll through. I said my constitutional nerve endings are tingling. You know, the first tug on my inner web is this little poem I wrote about our friend Jake Morphonius. I said, Jake may be a snake. It's interesting that even Morphonius sounds fake. Giving us limited hangouts and overall side tracks. So why should I follow the breadcrumbs that slip through his cracks? Hey Jake, the fake, Mr. Morphonius, give us something else to misguide us. Or rewind and answer this. What the fuck happened in Las Vegas? So again, the 4chan posts of the QAnon have taken Mr. Morphonius off on a red herring, it seems, into the land of questions instead of answers. You know, I just feel like it's some sort of COINTELPRO thing. Especially since a lot of the guys are cross referencing one another's work on it. Hey, I really appreciate the crowdsourced style of getting everybody together on a point. We've got to keep it together as patriots here. But we can be misguided. And we can easily be misguided right now because we're all on the edge. We've got our fight or flight instinct kicked in. So my issue so far with the QAnon is this. Any deal that sounds too good to be true usually is. And if you fall for it, and you learn the lesson, it's one that sticks with you like a kick in the stomach. You know what I mean? Like when you fall for something like that and you find out that it really took you down a rabbit hole you didn't need to go down and wasted your time and effort and energy and kept you from doing something you really ought to do, you feel like you've been sucker punched, you know? So QAnon is telling us things that we already know through these questions, in the form of questions. It's like, let me present something to you in the form of a question that QAnon is like talking about we already know. You know, what does money buy? You know, and all kinds of things. I don't even want to get into his mystery rabbit holes. It's fun. It's like logic games, but it is it's designed to take truth seekers and veterans, I think, off the trail of something that was super hot in their back pockets, and that's the Las Vegas thing. I'm just going to keep reading before I jump ahead of myself. I think they're telling us stuff that we already know, those of us who actually are on the trail of a lot of things, and they're baiting us with that stuff. And they know that their audience is interested and that is researching things on their own. So they're going to try to suck them in purposely down this rabbit hole, mentioning folks like BP, Alex Jones, Jake Barfonius, and more to attack their audience, to attract their audience of veterans and truth seekers. This is a purpose-driven campaign meant to pacify those who are on the edge and ready to defend the Constitution here at home. The only new data that I've derived so far from these 4chan posts is that the counter coup is afoot, and it will culminate with at least a 2-week martial law or civil emergency period where we are told and assured only that the pedos and the corrupt Luciferians are going to be rounded up. Now, what the fuck? Alright, so we're told all these things that we know, and then kind of like patted on our back for being truth seekers and veterans, but then we're told that they're going to need a 2-week martial law or civil emergency period in order to round these guys up. When in the world has that ever worked? When has it ever worked? The first thing on that note, because I got a bunch of stuff on that. Is that if we are going to restore the constitutional republic, shouldn't we do that via the Constitution instead of like suspending our rights so that they can reset the constitutional republic? Sounds like they just want to reset their own guys in office. You know what I mean? It's like what a real coup is, not a counter coup. You know, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but around the world, anyone with any kind of dissent is being like beat by these like thug troopers that all look the same. Now, do you guys want that stuff on our streets? Hell no. I don't want no thug trooper out here that I gotta like bow down to for a couple weeks, eat my MREs or whatever. Fuck that. My friend wrote a book called The Civil War II. Mr. Ottenhausen. He's a military guy and spent a career in high level, and you know he was clearanced out. He high rank pretty much, but he wrote a lot of books. And one of his trilogies he's working on is Blue Heron, and then Civil War II. And in the Civil War II, the president is duped into allowing this civil emergency to take place, and then when it is taking place and all the strings and levers of power are transferred over to the military, what happens at that point is they say, yeah, go spend time with your family or else, and then he is taken out. The president is taken out, and the military then, who sold this as we've got to round up the corruption, now is in control for an indefinite amount of time. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like hell. I want real, true liberty. One of my own personal responsibility, not one that I'm living in fear at the barrel of a gun. All right, and then they're talking about something else that's completely crazy. Hope I can get this all in. And they're talking about Eric Prince and Oliver North are going to head up an accountable white hat CIA-like organization. Now, what the fuck? Are you telling me you're going to round up all the bad guys and then place people in there who have been operating in the same type of reality outside of the law just by, mercenaries, man? You don't think that they're not going to act in the same way, just under a different tyranny, just a different head of this same tyrannical snake? Hey man, I'm down with some of Eric Prince's ideologies and some of the people he is associated with, and I'm not really upset about Mr. Oliver North either. But they've been involved in shady things just like the CIA. They understand what's going on around the world because they're available to be hired with a unique skill set. Now, what the heck? I don't want mercenaries getting into hidden data on my personal self or anyone else I know. So my Fourth Amendment rights should be sacrosanct, and if they're going to get rid of organizations like the FBI and CIA, keep them gone. We don't need them. We don't need unaccountable, unelected bureaucracies sniffing into all of our personal data. It's against the Constitution. In the constitutional republic, my personal, private papers are mine. All right. Now listen. This is the way I'm gonna sum this up. Trump, if you want a revolution, don't do it from some kind of crazy 4D chess counter code bullshit. All of those who voted for you are ready. Call on us, Trump. Call on us and we will rally where you want us to, in Washington or whatever. But the people who voted for you will rally to you in a heartbeat without martial law. If you want a new constitutional convention, call for it. We'll be there with bells on, if you know what I'm saying. So this has been Art Christensen. I'm going to say, I love you guys. Let's break the power of the Illuminati. Let's rip the veil. Let's understand their technocratic desire. Who's QAnon? I think it's COINTEL. And I think it's misleading us off hot topics like Las Vegas. What happened in Las Vegas? Peace out.